This is the Realty Classroom Podcast, episode number 92. You must develop these top skills. Are you a real estate agent with an entrepreneurial spirit who wants to turn your job into a business without sacrificing your lifestyle, but you just can't seem to find the right plan to help you get there? Well, then, hey, you're definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Realty Classroom and the host of this podcast. And to help you take immediate action to get started in the right direction if you're new, or build a better real estate agent business if you're a veteran agent, I've created a free jumpstart course for you over at freeagentgift.com. That's freeagentgift.com. It'll help you with some strategies and take that strategic vision that we so desperately need. All right, let's get started in this episode. I want to talk about skills. I know. Guy just mentioned strategy, and that's all he talks about here. But no, you need the skills too. So here we go. We're going to indulge in a conversation about skill sets as they fit into these strategies that are key. Go back and listen to episode number 91. You hear me talk about the 1-2 punch with marketing strategy and conversion strategy. That's really the 1-2 piston driving engine for this business in particular. But those areas require some skills, amongst other skills when it comes to the sale. So I want to hit these points here today and really point you in a direction that as I record this, it's the turn of another year. And there are some skills that I'm surprised that agents just aren't curious about learning more about. You just can't keep doing the same thing and not getting better at these certain skills and expect a different result. I'll say that again because that's an Einstein quote, right? The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So how do you get a different result? Well, first of all, you get better strategies, but then once you get up over those strategies, you see the skills that are required. Okay. So let's talk about that. What skills make me more effective in these better strategies? Number one point here is become a copywriter. So I want you to think about marketing as a strategy. We again go back to the sister episode right before this with strategic approach, where I talk about where are they, who are they? That's defining your marketplace and narrowing that. You hear narrow your niche down, narrowing it down. We talked about 800 to 1,000 sales is 1,600 to 2,000 sides. That's plenty, okay? You focus there. But you have to get a message out to the ideal person. So the who becomes your ideal person. See, this is the way a copywriter thinks. A copywriter sits down and just doesn't randomly start going to the third point of media and say, well, I think I'll try postcards. I think I'll try billboards. I think I'll try door knocking, telemarketing, and on and on and on the list goes. Those are media choices. A true copywriter, okay, takes a beat. I say copywriter because they're the folks that spend their lives thinking about this audience, thinking about how to get that message appropriately to them verbally first, right? They think about it. They imagine themselves sitting in a room across from the ideal prospect, the ideal lead, whoever it might be that we're thinking about. And they begin to say, if I were in a room with this person trying to get them to buy into this guidance or this product or whatever it might be, what is the appropriate thing to say? And they're right. And that's why I promote a lot in this podcast. Get yourself a spiral notebook and write. And it's not about going always back and, oh, I made to-do lists. I get it. Those are all good skills and I'm not dealing with here. I'm saying just write. Get out of your head this exercise. Write down, who is my ideal client? If you're new to the business, make it up. Who would you really like to do business with? What kind of people do you enjoy or do you dream about doing? I say that because a lot of you have this lower self-esteem or this lower self-image of yourself when you start. Well, who am I to go into luxury? Well, you're the person that should go into luxury. You're the one. You're it. Like Les Brown says, you're the one. I'm the one. You have to repeat that to yourself over and over so that you can sit across imaginarily from this ideal client. That's what copywriters do. Who's the ideal person? And to act as if you can be wildly successful with that person. And write down, here they are. They live in this spot. They own this type of house. And I have to get a message to them. And the message is not about who we are. See, that's why when you start to learn about copywriting, you don't write yourself into the story as the hero. You can go to storybrand.com and check out Donald Miller's work, which really affected me in its simplification. He just took this Hollywood formula, he extracted it, chunked it up. You know that's near and dear to my heart. Chunk it up. Okay. Enters the hero who has a problem. Well, in copywriting, that's not you as the marketer. That's the ideal avatar sitting there with a problem, and enter you trying to give them a message of help and guidance. You don't even have to gratuitously say, and here I am, the guide. You don't even have to go into that drama. Just show up with a message of help. It's story branding 101. It's copywriting 101. And if you did some extra work on copywriting as it relates to marketing, which is your strategy, think up, get up with me. Strategy, market, message, then media. Where are they? Who are they? And what do I have to bring them for a message of help and guidance? And there's a real key thing that you learn these days in copywriting, where there's more pressure than ever for a company and henceforth a copywriter, a messenger, a message writer to give away the best stuff for free. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused about copywriting, because they say, well, if the copywriter is just going to give away all the keys to the kingdom and all the secrets, where does that leave me? Well, there's a subtlety in there that I learned along the way too, by studying copywriters. So it's not just that, you read books and Joe Sugarman and this, I'm trying to remember all the books. I mean, Dan Kennedy, all these folks that I've watched and studied, I started to see that when they got a message out there for free, it was what to do. Think do it yourself, right? So great copywriters give enough information about what to do. So you want to sell a house, here's what to do. You want to buy a house, here's what to do. What is the key word? So you're giving that away, almost like a do-it-yourself kit. But if there's a call to action, which is key to the copywriter's world, that's when they need or want more than that. So I might have a long-form copy. A lot of people think long-form copy's dead. Really? Watch how long people watch videos these days. That's a long-form copy. So these long-form copies are written, and people, the ideal avatar who are interested, lean in and read more because it's relevant to them. See, that's all professional copywriting. I'm not proclaiming to be a professional copywriter, but I've studied a lot of really good ones and have come away with understanding I have to think, at least, like a copywriter when it comes to chunking up, get up in my strategic marketing plan. See how it works? Pretty simple. Let's move on to the next point here. Next point is become a price expert. Now, I had this interesting beginning to my professional career where I fell into this Wall Street environment, and I was around pricing. There was a lot of pricing. How do you figure out in advance the price of a stock and where it will be? Sort of Gretzky's Wall Street, right? Where will the puck be? Where will the price be? So there were a lot of factors that went into understanding the price of a public stock, a share of that stock. How did you figure that out? Now, I know a lot of you are going to kind of melt down on me when it comes to this, but just study this stuff. It's not rocket science. A lot of you are learning comparable sales. Well, the truth is, there really is no true exact comparable. There's so many variances in one property to the next that pricing becomes almost like an art form. That the more that you become that thing, the more that you practice that thing, okay? You can play a game with yourself. How many of you veterans out there still really go, or rookies really go on all of these tours that the broker opens when 4 or 5 properties, maybe 10 are listed, and the brokers want to share them with you, which is, by the way, like 88% of the market time where we're sharing with each other, and they welcome you in to come take a look at it. Go in and look. Go in and second guess how they priced it. Were they right? How'd they come up with the price? Where did that, learn. Because pricing is a huge issue. This is a product that sells based on the right or doesn't sell based on the wrong price. So you don't just look at the features and perhaps benefits of the property without directly relating them to others. So in other words, when you do a comparable, sure, look at the features, the location, etc., all those things, but how did it relate to the pricing? So really one of the best ways to do this is to watch when something's listed, your own, others, and see where it ended up. Why was it wrong? What was it off by? Why did something expire versus these other competitors? But always go to price. What does that sold price say? And a lot of people that want to go into an advanced analysis of price, like I did, I stumbled into it because I was curious. See, I was becoming a better pricing it right expert. Because I recognize that this was a skill that affects the outcome. The same way that if I write a well-written, copywritten message and then deliver it on whatever medium makes the most sense, somebody's more likely to come to me. That's effective. That's effective marketing. I don't just do marketing because I want it to be ineffective, and I hope you don't either. But a lot of us just do. We default or abdicate responsibility to third parties. But effective copywriting matters. And that leads you into these situations where you get invited into a listing, for example. And you don't want to be the one that expires it. You want to be the one that gives them the truth. But when you come in, and I know what you're all feeling, like we're all stuck and trapped in this world of pricing it right, bingo. But Danny, they're going to line up 6 people. And if I don't say the right number, bingo, I lose, right? Not bingo, I win. Stop doing that. The reason why the tail wags the dog, meaning the consumer lines you all up and has you play this guess it right number, and then you get out. That's what we were thinking. Yeah, of course you were. It was high. That's what we all do. Rather, come in like the professional, the pricing it right expert who said, look, I don't know that this is a perfect science, but I've done some real thinking about this math. So from price per square foot to assessed ratios, and that's, by the way, part of an algorithm out there. A lot of you want to talk about like math, the assessed values, and just dismiss it. Oh, it has nothing to do with market value. You are wrong. You are wrong. It is a benchmark against which price can be figured out. I use it every single time I go into a house, and you can't believe how uncanny and spot on this math can be. And I know that because I work hard at becoming the skilled thing, a pricing it right expert. And I am telling you, I bring that math in from day one. Whether you hire me or not, I am going to give you the math that I have to deal with, that you have to deal with, that the marketplace is saying is real. And don't just get caught up in simple things like price per square foot, because price per square foot, unless they're really identical condominiums or something like that, is a dangerous, slippery slope. Get in more to the qualitative data, right? Really looking at the quality, the layout, and all that, how it relates, then the location. There's a lot of variables. And that's why I love to start with an assessed value, because the town or the municipality has taken a lot of that into effect. I get all my Californians. You have a challenge where some stuff hasn't been reassessed for years. Again, I understand. So what? Make the dang adjustments. Make the adjustments, but become a price expert. Study pricing in that market. Remember, we were up there at market? This is where price becomes part of this. You want to get a message out that you're the expert. Well, then know pricing. Know what's happening with statistics. What is the average price per square foot? Why? Does it vary from high end, all redone to low end distress sales? Study all that stuff. Okay? Spend some time. Next point. Here's one that'll confuse you a little bit. And I get questions about this a lot, and maybe it's that early on Wall Street exposure. But the third point here is become a market maker. Become a market maker. What does that mean? Market makers are middlemen, middlewomen. They're in the middle of a transaction. They're pulling parties together. And as brokers, agents, that's what we do. We are middle people, okay? We're in the middle where we are trying to be that person who makes the market for that property. See, you don't even realize that because nobody's ever brought Wall Street language into your business. I have had that because I have studied it and I still study it. All these efficiencies of Wall Street, how the information gets built into price. Here we go right back up to price. When you become a market maker, you understand the subtleties of price because you understand, okay, I've got to get enough people to come to this. See, if you price a house outside the range within which it belongs, you're doing a poor job of market making, because the great market maker knows what? That if they can get that price as close to true value as possible, and we don't know true value till we go there, but you can use all the math and all the subtleties and you just get better and better, that you price it right, guess what happens? A bunch of people show up quickly. You've done what? Made an early market for that property. Now, I know this is difficult to sell the seller on because they're so emotional, they need the money, but that's why getting into all of this other stuff, being a good market maker, also helps you get the skill ready to actually explain that piece to the seller, to say, look, this is about the communication stage. See, in my 7 steps, I say, look, pricing it right matters the most. We've got to talk about what potential range this could be in. Next, we're going to talk about how to improve that price by conditioning it, reconditioning the property inside and out, and then moving furniture around or bringing in a professional stager, then and only then can we talk about marketing, which first has to do with just memorializing the beauty of the place in one moment in time digitally. Right? We live in this digital world. So we need these pictures, we need these floor plans, we need these Matterport tours, whatever it is, drone pictures, whatever you're going to do, you memorialize it. But that has nothing to do with making a market for it yet, because until you hit go on the multiple listing service and out it goes and syndicates to the internet, now you know whether all those first 4 steps are even putting you in the game of being able to make a market for this. How do you know you're making a market? The co-brokes are calling and they're asking for showings. The direct buyers are calling. They're asking to see the property. And a lot of you that are just not even showing up to your showings, not because, I get it, when you're busy, I'm busy. So a lot of times we're not going to stand in the way of getting an agent in there, but we're going to be talking to that agent all the while. We're going to be telling them, prepping them before there if we can't attend it. But some of you that aren't that busy and you're not showing up to actively show these properties, what are you doing? You're not learning how to be a better market maker, to be in the houses with these agents, with their buyers, listening, coming back to your seller and saying, hey, we got to tighten this up. We got to squeeze that down. That's market making skill stuff. Please work on it more. And lastly here, this is a big can of worms. You have to become a psychologist. You have to become a psychologist. I say this all the time too. This is one of the single largest financial and emotional transactions most people will ever make in a lifetime, especially emotional. And I've had people tell me, well, this guy or this gal is savvy and they do that. Whoa, slow down. This is home. This is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You are talking about safety. This is a need, a human need, according to one of the greatest psychologists of all time who chunked it up into a pyramid, right? And I say of all time because I like people that simplify. He just simplified it. You need the real basics, and safety is one of those things. And what gives you a sense of safety? Your cave, also known as your home. It makes you emotional when you're moving in and out, or you're losing it, or you're stressed, or whatever it might be. So we have to learn the skills of psychology. We have to, number one, take that, for example, as a great starting point. What does he mean? What's this guy talking about? We have this unbelievable privilege to serve people with their safety, with their home. And I know you deal with some people that have a lot of money and this might be their 4th home, their 5th home. I get that. But it's still stressful to them too. And they have asset stress, right? Somebody has a lot of money and a lot of assets and they need to deal with all this. They're overwhelmed. So you have to know how to become a real estate psychologist in that moment. But the most important point there that I'll share with you is you need to come in touch with your own emotions. Your own emotions. You see, this is a business and you're running it as one. And so when there's a lot of money on the table and you know your business needs it, you'll become emotional. And that can be exacerbated by those people who are on the other side, whether it be your seller, your buyer, the other agent's buyer or seller, or the other agent themselves. Somebody gets all stressed out and all of a sudden things start to go haywire. You need to learn how to be calm in those moments. Think about the best performers in anything. Have you ever seen a concert pianist sit down and just look to just be lost in the moment and so calm and so flowing? That's psychological preparation. The ability to calm the nerves and almost have everything slow down so that you hear it. And more importantly, you shoulder it. See, what we really get paid to do, per se, is to be able to shoulder a lot of this burden. Not just the strategic and technical skills that are required to sell a house or help somebody buy one, not just that, but to shoulder all this. And you'll recognize it in yourself where you need to work on this psychological skill set when you find yourself getting upset with somebody else very quickly. Oh, I can't believe they said that to me. What do you mean you can't believe it? They're stressed out to the max. Right before the recording of this podcast, I was sitting in a house where I just saw that blank look all of a sudden, boom. And I knew it was time to stop talking about the technical stuff, the strategic stuff. The point was made, just to kind of lean in and just let it be what it is. How can I help you? Like right now, let me just put this stuff away. You can look at it later. How can I help you? Just to be able to recognize these moments and to be able to change yourself into somebody who can shoulder the burden and says, bring it to me. That's what I really hope you can understand. Because when you do that, And you don't take anything personally. Because it's like, look, these people aren't really trying to hurt us personally. They just need to lay off on somebody. I got to scream. I got to yell. I got to get mad and frustrated. I'm going to use all my little subtleties, right? And I'm going to insult you. Let it be. Shoulder it. Bring it in. Because then what you're able to do is bring them back. See, these are all the little psychological sales techniques you learn too. So it's not just becoming aware of psychology. It's also sales training, which is really psychology. The best salespeople I've ever seen, they don't sell anything. They're tremendous guides. They empower people and lead them towards this moment where the person has made their own decision. No sale at all. Guidance. Psychology. It's not a trick either. This is benevolent psychology. This is the truth of how to really treat people. Treat them the way you want to be. What? Empowered, guided, clarified. This is what we do, okay? So let's go back and reiterate these things. Now, I talk a lot about strategy, especially marketing and conversion. But I went down this time into skills that are effective so that when you figure these strategies out a little bit better, you're going to need these skills. Number one, become a copywriter. Look up copywriting. You go on your own curiosity and you look up the definition of copywriting and watch how it relates to all these other arms that you could get into when it comes to strategic marketing. Become a good copywriter. They think a lot about who that ideal client is and how to write a message to them. Next, become a price expert. This is just so easy. Our MLS is loaded with pricing information, loaded with it. You can look at the features and the benefits and what the money is really buying. That will help you not only with your buyers, but your sellers too. What are the buyers buying for this kind of money? And can we compete? Next, become a market maker. Get in these houses. Get in open houses. Get face-to-face inside the product as often as you can and understand how to dialogue with people, how to listen to the dialogue, how to adjust, how to not be afraid to go to your seller and give them tough advice. Your buyer to tell them, come on, let's stop dragging our feet here because you keep trying to lowball everything. See, this is a skill set. And if you know the math, if you know really, how to pull the people together, you're a market maker. That's a communication skill. Learn how to communicate better. And lastly, become a shrink, right? You have to understand your own psychology, how your needs affect what you're feeling in the thick of something. Oh my gosh, I need the money. I got to put food on my table. Your Maslow's hierarchy is under pressure. So is theirs. You learn to be calm in that storm. Work on those psychological skills. And especially as it relates to this invisible type of sale where guidance rules the day. All right, let me chunk this up for you. As you begin to take a more strategic approach to developing your business, you'll begin to see the obvious skills like these that most affect a positive outcome. What I mean by that, there's a lot of skills, but these are most effective. You must become a student of those skills and work to master them. Hey, remember, you can take immediate action and get started in the right direction with our free simple business plan, our strategy, over at freeagentgift.com. There's a nice infographic out there. I'll be updating that for the new year because I have a couple slight tweaks to it. As I get a little bit deeper and more studious about this thing, I understand it even more simply. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so that you don't miss out on any insights each time we upload an episode. We also broadcast our live sales training calls on Facebook and YouTube most of every Fridays. We took a couple of holidays off at 1 p.m. EDT. So you remember to turn on our page and channel notifications, the bells, the whistles, just so you know we went live. And if not, they're all recorded. We give them away to you anyway. So you can listen to us work on these skills. Okay. Market making is especially what happens. Those skills of how to talk to people on the phone, in the house. That's good market making stuff and the psychology mixed in. We'd also appreciate it. Please share our content with other entrepreneurial real estate agents just like you so they get the help that they need as well. Hey, thanks for listening. And remember, nobody's coming for you. So please go get to work on your own business and these skills. See you in the next episode.